Welcome back to the channel for another College TF review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Metagate M-01 Huge Fire, aka Bumblebee Movie Optimus Prime. You can get yours over at Shozy Store. Check out the link in the description. And as always, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel to keep these reviews coming. So yeah, this guy is amazing. He's phenomenal. This guy right now actually might be one of my favorite Optimus Primes in my collection. He is insane. He's truly... he surpasses the Takara masterpiece in my opinion. Both his robot mode and his alt mode are much better than the Takara masterpiece Optimus Prime. And this guy's phenomenal. He's absolutely insane. Fantastic figure. But before we get into all of his details, let's take a look at the box. Metagate already has a pretty good reputation as a third-party company, though I have yet to purchase anything from them. But nice artwork there on the front. Cool cartoon style on the front, which is kind of ironic given that this is a live action version of Optimus Prime. There is the back. Very nice. And then he does come with instructions if you order him now. So you get that. And if you notice, a lot of the instructions, actually it's multi-step per each individual step. You have lots of other sub-steps, but the transformation is actually much more straightforward than it looks, given how insane his robot mode is. I mean, look at this thing. This does not look like it can transform. This is on the level of, I would say, the 3.0 DLX, and it's insane. Lots of fantastic detail in there. Let's just take a look. There's the head sculpt. Very nice, big pointy ears. And I'll bring in the Studio Series SS32 for comparison later. You can see very nice detailing here all throughout the chest. These are actually transparent plastic there, so very nice. But it's only these window panels, not the whole chest unit. Lots of fantastic paint apps. Like you can see even like little piston detail on here has been painted. This guy is tiny. Very nice. Even the feet look pretty cool. You can see part of the transformation. The front wheels are actually on the feet, but it is pretty awesome. See there, very nice forearm detailing, smokestacks, and I mean, look at his back. That is insane. Perfect. The spinal cord's like perfect. Absolutely insane. They did not skimp on paint on this guy. He looks fantastic. Even the back of the head's been painted. See the orange there? Yeah, just phenomenal job here by Metagate. And this guy, we'll get into articulation in a minute, but it does not lack there either. So in terms of accessories, he does come with his blaster here. We see him use in the beginning of the Bumblebee movie. Very nice, just black plastic, nice sculpt work. And then you do get a total of 4 hands, so the figure comes with the fisted hands installed. And you also get a pair of splayed hands. So right now I have one of the splayed hands on, but of course, to transform him, you can only have the fisted hands on, or no hands. You don't actually need the hands if you don't want them on. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So there are fisted hands. Set off those hands for now. Let's take a look at articulation. So his head is on a ball joint with very good range of motion. So you get side to side, up, down, up to a very great degree. So you can be looking at the Seekers or whomever he's blasting. Then at the shoulders, you get out to the side to about there, just because of all the arm parts. They only goes to about that degree, but you do get you get rotation forwards to there and backwards to there. It does actually stop. Then you do get upper bicep swivel there, 90 degrees at the elbow. And you can do wrist rotation if you want, very little though. Then he does have an ab crunch, which looks really good. Very nice. And waist rotation. I do recommend crunching him a little bit to get the waist rotation because some of the little skirt pieces and stuff kind of hit on the lower detailing because he's insanely detailed. Now, instead of having movable skirts, this guy just has drop hips. So without the drop hip, you only kick to about there forward and about here backwards. But with the drop hip, you can definitely get a drop kick, that's for sure. You can kick all the way up to there, and then, back stays about the same. Then you do also get It's a ball joint here, so you get that range of motion. I mean, if you pull out the hip, you can get almost a full split there. He does also have nice hinge at the thigh. Then double jointed knees that just look insane. You can see, very, very nice. And then you do get very good ankle tilt, and it does also move back, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, I mean, but for such a tiny little figure, that amount of articulation is insane. Definitely competes with the likes of New Age and Magic Square. Speaking of which, let's bring in some bots for comparison. So we get, of course, the most relevant, I think, in this case, the Legends category is New Age Optimus Prime. This is the EX version of David. So there you can see they stack up pretty close in height. But I mean, check out, like, this guy's got no kibble of any kind. He's just so clean. And to think their truck modes are the same size is pretty insane. You can see? In terms of plastic quality, this guy is still very nice. I mean, not quite New Age level. New Age is its own league, I would say, but this guy is definitely on par with, like, core class Transformers, with a lot more paint. So there is David. And then for another comparison, forgot his name, just Jazz, New Age Jazz. Just as a live action comparison, since now we'll see Mirage in the Porsche mode, may as well use Jazz for that. So you can definitely integrate him with your New Age collection for sure. I think Magic Square is a little bit taller, so that's more of a personal preference if you're going to use Magic Square, but New Age definitely works. And then for a mainline comparison, here is SS32 Voyager Optimus Prime. So yeah, very different size scale there, but let's take a look at these two just to compare their details for a minute. So here you can see, I mean, just the amount of paint apps on this guy is insane. And I mean, SS32, definitely one of my favorite Studio Series figures of all time. But this guy kind of blows him out of the water, quite honestly, a little bit. I mean, this guy still holds his own, but just the amount of detail they packed into this guy is insane. And I think there's more paint on this guy than there is on all of SS32. And he's the same price, but obviously, you know, pretty big size difference. And I mean, especially when you turn him to the back, right? You do get some nice spinal cord detailing on him on SS32, but it is a bit blocky, whereas this guy, perfectly clean. Look at that. That is insane. You can just see side profile. Both pretty good in terms of hiding their junk very well. So there is that comparison for you. And I also think I do like the head sculpt on this guy, but it isn't as accurate as, you know, because it came out earlier from Bumblebee movie, a little before the movie actually came out. So his full face sculpt isn't perfectly accurate, whereas this guy I think is much better. The much longer face with the big pointy ears. This is more of like a G1-ish head sculpt. So there you go. That's that comparison. So let's get into transformation. So this guy, to begin, so mine does actually come with instructions now, but they're pretty good, I would say. I just change a few steps. So I would actually start by collapsing the fists on each side. You just push them in all the way. Then come to these panels, and what you want to do is rotate them back a little bit because you're going to pull them out. So you just want to pull at the front part here, rotate, and then square it up again. You can see that. Same thing on the other side. And then you want to come to these top panels here, pull each one down. Same thing on this side, pull each one down. Like that. Then we can actually do the entire back assembly now. So what you want to do down here is come to the feet, pull them down, like so. And there's a lot of panels actually in the feet. So you want to open up these panels, which will form the side of the truck later on. And then here are your front wheels. Just fold all of that out, like so. Then we want to pull out this tab. Just did wedge itself in there pretty good. It has a little nail grab, but I might need something to pull that out. Actually, there's a shortcut to doing that. So we can just go ahead and extend out. We can pull this, separate at the back here. I'm just trying to get that little tab out. So we can just pull that forward and then push from the underside, and we should be able to separate it. We use the back of the hand here, lending me a hand. Sorry, that was bad fun. All right, so there we go. We got this little tabby thing out. I recommend maybe not pushing that in as far as I did. So we got all this opened up like so. And like you saw, I was rotating the wheel. So it's on a slider joint, right? So it was positioned forward like this. That's how it was. So then you just want to pull it back on that slider and rotate it around like that. Do the same thing on this side. So we already have it opened up. Just want to pull this out and rotate it until it's all the way back. And there actually is a little tab slot connection. So you can see there's a little tab there and there's a slot just inside of the wheel. It's not on the wheel. The wheel itself is free rolling, but just on that same panel. Then next we want to rotate at the upper thigh here. Just rotate inwards like so. Then come to this leg, has this little panel, comes out, folds down. And so now we want to attach the legs. So you got this big tab that goes into the slot on the shin there, and then this big tab that goes into a slot on the opposite wheel. There we go. Just get all of that lined up. Should tab in nicely, like that. So then also just a word of note on articulation, these little parts move. There's not much, I would just leave them as they are. They just kind of move with the knee and they're pinned on, so. But there's nothing for transformation in terms of what you do there. All right, next we want to go ahead and just pull all this back on that double joint on his drop joints there and just kind of flatten it out like so. Come to the hip skirts, fold them in like that. And now we can separate the front and back panels. So you want to pull the back panel out, and this is the front of the truck, much like Studio Series SS32, and fold that down like so. And then the front panel as well as his abs. Pull all that together like that. And then we want to take this whole inner chest assembly and rotate it out like so. Open all of that up. And next, we need to rotate the arms so that they all situate underneath all of this. And this is the only part that's a little bit annoying about the transformation. It's not bad, it's just a little tricky. So what you want to do here is now rotate these, believe this way. So we're gonna collapse them inwards. Yeah, so rotate them this way. And we're just gonna rotate this whole arm underneath. It's on a little hinge joint you can see here. So just rotate this underneath that panel. Does require a little bit of effort to get in there. So just like that. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So again, you just want to rotate the forearm so that this panel, when it's vertical, you want it to go this way so that the screw is facing upwards. And then rotate underneath there, like so. Now with the arms, we want to rotate them to fill in this void. So just kind of hinge these little pieces out of the way for now that we pulled out earlier, but you do need them out. It's easier to have them out now. So pull the arm out to the side, then fold it down inside like that. Do the same thing on the other side. And don't worry, all this will solidify in a minute. It is kind of like SS32, a bit of a jumble right now, but it does all solidify. So just make sure all of those tabs are nice. There are actually no tabs, it's just all the joints are flat on the top and bottom. And now what we can do is rotate this panel. So you can see it is actually the wheel well for the front wheel. So rotate this around like that, fold it down, and then it will just fit nice and snugly behind the bumper piece here. Just get it in there. Make sure it's rotated all the way. There we go. And it just locks in like that. Same thing on this side. Locks in perfectly, like so. Next, make sure these little panels that we pulled out earlier, those kind of groove in underneath everything, like that. Then we want to come in and pull out the doors. Now, it's not quite like the new age engineering where the doors actually open in truck mode. This is as far as they can go. So you can't really get the full door open effect, but it's pretty close. Then you don't want to collapse all this down. You have a slot here, and there's the pin right there. Just collapse it, give it a nice little squeeze. And all of that should line up. Close those doors up. And then we're almost done here. So we then want to take this whole back section, and it collapses like that. Take the smokestacks, pull them back. And now to finally solidify everything, we're gonna bring in the front of the truck. And so there are several tabs and slots here. So you have tab here that goes into that slot, and then you have a tab here, which goes into this square slot up here, right here. So I would recommend trying to do that first one, the upper one first, and then come back to the later one. So we want to get this tab lined up with the front slot first, press that in, and then we can press in the one on the side as well. And it does take like maybe a little bit of movement of the legs until everything does line up. Yeah, man. There we go. All that's lined up, and then you just want to take that side panel, push it up like that. Same thing on this side. Actually, you can tap in the back first too. That works as well. Actually seemed to work better this time on camera. That's being transformation shy. Optimus doesn't like showing all his parts in front of everybody. All right, so there we have him in his truck mode. Metagate Huge Fire. Great name. I do like the clever names that all the third-party companies give their figures. Let's see if we can get this lined up a little better here. There we go. Yeah, this guy, so here's his vehicle mode. Looks pretty nice. You do get a little bit of panel-y junk going on there. But I actually think this looks better than the Masterpiece for sure. And he has pinned on wheels, so just straighten everything out like that. There we go. Rolls beautifully. Beautifully. Then for weapon storage, you have tabs on the gun on either side, and you can put them into either one of these square slots. That's no problem, like that. There you go. Check out all these paint details. I like the way they actually painted around. This is the pin for the wheel, but they painted around it with the red, and it totally looks like tail lights, so that is really well done. You of course get the smokestacks, they're now inverted. I think that's actually very clever, because this looks like them plugging into the truck. Let's remove the gun. You can see all the other details. The bed back here is a little messy, but it is flat. There's no like legs sticking up or anything, so that's good. Some nice silver on the inside there as well. That's the bottom of the foot, fuel tank. I mean, look at the underside. This thing looks insane. And there's the front. The front looks great. Nice silver. You have the rivet details. More of that transparent plastic for the windows, which are not the same as on his chest. Those were actually, his chest is a faux chest, but that works at the scale. You have nice yellow lights there. Silver on the doors, and again, like just to show you, that's as far as the door will open. So you can kind of sort of get a fake door opening, but it doesn't really look like it. And there's the top. There you go. So let me get those other figures transformed, and we'll do some comparisons. All right, and we're back with New Age Optimus Prime, all transformed to his truck mode. You can see the comparison between the two. Metagate Huge Fire is actually bigger than David in this case. It's so funny to call them by their third-party names. See the backs of the trucks there? Bring them in closer. They're tiny. Very nice. Between the two. Let me know in the comments below which truck mode you prefer between the two. Then also out of curiosity, I did try David's trailer with Huge Fire, and I mean it's sized perfectly, but it doesn't. You can get it to kind of lock in the back there, but obviously that tilt is not very good. So if you wanted to, I'm sure you could get a 3D. Someone at some point, I'm sure, will design a 3D printed trailer hitch that could lock into these tabs or somewhere back here that then could interface with the New Age trailer, because I think that would be perfect. But yeah, next to David, here you go. Obviously, David's truck mode is a lot cleaner. I would say if you're going to get one third-party Optimus Prime, obviously it's dependent on whether or not you like the live-action designs versus G1. G1 obviously New Age, and live-action obviously this Metagate's only one right now, but really, really insane. But if you were to just get one, I would still go with the New Age because the quality on this is just unbeatable. There are no other Transformers on the market that feel like the way the New Age Transformers feel. Because I mean, in terms of weight, actually this guy isn't that far off. This guy feels really nice. After just transforming SS32, may as well bring him in here. This guy's plastic is better. Metagate, I think, uses better plastic, so that's pretty awesome. So here's that comparison with SS32. Obviously, SS32 is pretty darn spot on to Optimus's truck mode. You can't really beat that. Like that is basically flawless. But this is definitely more comparable to the likes of the Masterpiece in terms of its level of robot mode. That would be what I would compare it to. And the Takara Masterpiece's truck mode is a disaster. And I think this is much better. Still not fantastic, but definitely much better than SS32. Or sorry, than the Masterpiece. SS32 nails the truck mode. Nails it perfectly. So there's that comparison. And then also just for Rise of the Beast comparison, here is a Porsche. So obviously it's still out of scale because, you know, New Age's stuff all scales in the robot mode and not in the vehicle mode. But there is that comparison as well. But this is New Age Jive or something, I think is his name. There you go. So yeah, this guy, Metagate M-01 Huge Fire, they knocked it out of the park with this figure. Absolutely fantastic. Then one more final comparison I just wanted to show you is between the guns. So this is SS32's blaster, and this is the Metagate. And as you can see, I mean, it is pretty darn near match. I guess both Hasbro and Metagate nailed that design, but you can see the comparison there. Just a mini version of SS32's gun. So yeah, very, very cool. I highly recommend this figure. If you're a live action collector, it is pretty darn awesome to finally be getting some Legends scale live action figures from these third-party companies, and Metagate definitely knocked it out of the park on this one with their Huge Fire Optimus Prime. Again, check out the link in the description below to get yours from Shrizzy's store, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.